Deb Campos tagged me in a video, 5 mistakes that I've made backpacking. And I thought, well, that's going to be hard because I don't make mistakes backpacking. I'm like the Mary Poppins of backpackers. Practically perfect in every way. And then I thought, this is really an important topic for backpackers since backpacking is a zero tolerance game. You get up in the wilderness and figure out that you forgot a length of nylon cord. Now you can't hang a bear hang. Now you're going to have food laying around on the ground all night long. You wake up in the middle of the night because you hear a sound. That's the sound of you dying. That's why it's important that we hikers and backpackers share our failures and mistakes so that others may live. Therefore, depress the pause button, grab yourself some popcorn or your favorite snack, make yourself comfortable, and then hit the play button, and I shall regale you with these 5 tales of my very own stupidity. If I'd been walking around looking like this 6 months ago, the authorities definitely would have drew guns on me. Number 5. Trail bunk.
Sometimes I jam a trail way too hard. One time, I did a 4-mile hike. In fact, this trail that I'm on right here. In fact, it was when I shot Infinite Monkey video. 4 miles, more than 1,700 foot of gain. No rests, no food, no water. I just jammed it. But I bonked out real hard by the time I got up to the top. Had a headache from dehydration. I was trying to put some water down, ibuprofen. Not good. I had to hike around to the back of the lake, scoop up a whole bunch of snow in my day pack, just let it melt all down my back. I tend to do that though. I tend to just hit trails way too hard, get on them and just keep going. That's not good. After that hike, I've tried to make it a point to take breaks, eat food, drink water whenever I'm on the trail.
Number 4. I've gone hiking with people who are unprepared and inexperienced.
Yeah, we had a backpacking trip all planned out years and years ago into the Devils. And just before we were leaving, there were some more guys that wanted to go. Hey, we want to go with you. I said, okay. You got gear? One of them was like, well, I got a sleeping bag and I got like a book bag. I'll just throw some cans. I mean, what do you need? And we were like, a tent? He was like, nah, just sleep on the ground. I don't need all that. We said, okay. So we all went. We got on the trail, hiked a long ways. I had a full set of gear, and it was the old crappy gear back. It was that far back when I had a heavy load because I bought everything at Walmart. We got all the way into this camp spot that we've been wanting to go to. This guy was like, I think it'd been sort of just wearing on him the whole hike. He was like, I'm not ready for this. And as soon as we got there, he said, I'm leaving. I'm heading out. I'm not staying. And we were like, what? What are you gonna... Like, I'm just gonna go out. He didn't even have a car at the trail. He said he's just gonna hitchhike home. So I ended up hiking out with him. Spent all this time planning for a backpacking trip. Went to all the trouble to climb all the way into this campsite just to leave as soon as we got there. We actually did take a few minutes and catch some fish, but it was a total bust. Worst trip ever.
Number 3. I tried fighting a wilderness fire with my teapot.
So the Boulder Badger and I just topped off a steep jam. This is a section of trail that gains a lot of altitude fast. I call it a steep jam. And this one was particularly difficult. Although I was a younger lad, this was probably 15 years ago. I'd stopped at the last convenience store before the trailhead and thrown 12 bears on my pack. Anyway, we get to the top of this steep jam and there's a wilderness fire right in front of us. So we're both standing there huffing and puffing, trying to panic over this fire, wondering what the crap we're gonna do. And then we thought maybe we should throw some water on it. So we get our little cook pots. We're hiking down to a little creek and filling up our cook pots. I actually carried a teapot back then. We're trying to splash a little bit of water on this wilderness fire. we actually killed some of the flames. And we felt good about ourselves. So we thought we'd take our weight up to our camp spot, drop that off, and then hike all the way back out, report to the rangers. So we hiked up to our camp spot, dropped off our weight. They hiked back down to where the fire was at. There was already a fire crew there. Much to our approval, we didn't want to hike all the way back out. Then we noticed they were throwing wood on the thing and stoking it up. We went over and said greetings and all that. They said, yeah, it looks like somebody's been out here trying to put this fire out. And we were like, what? Why would anybody do a thing like try and put out a forest fire? Anyway, turns out you're not supposed to put them out. They just let them burn up here. They don't do anything about it. They weren't too mad. I actually strongly suspect the reason they wanted the fire was so they could cook some giant bratwursts that they had on the end of some sticks. There's no wood fire allowed in here, so if you want to cook some giant bratwursts, a wilderness fire is your best hope. Anyway, I made the mistake of trying to put out a wilderness fire, which doesn't seem like it should be a mistake at all. I should be a hero for it.
Now I feel like I should clarify here, a wilderness fire is not a forest fire. The forest, the sticks I call them, is a sea of trees with some rocks. The wilderness is a sea of rocks with some trees. The wilderness fires stay local because there's nowhere for them to travel. And I do not recommend fighting a forest fire with a teapot if it can be avoided. Number 2. I love trashing Sawtooth.
What happened is I went to throw a bear line. I just had a nylon line tied to a rock. Well, the back end of the line snagged on a shrub. The rock just barely cleared a limb all the way up at the top of this tree and just tied itself in an irredeemable knot. I spent hours and hours trying to figure out how to get it off of there, to no avail, all evening, and then in the morning too. I tried climbing there was some rocks. I tried poking it with a stick. Nothing. Nope. And I ended up having to walk away from camp knowing that I was leaving garbage in Sawtooth. It was terrible, and I hope it's not there anymore. I just found somebody's bear line at this camp though. I'm hauling it out for them, so maybe that'll make up for it.
Number 1. I bought a tent at Walmart.
I bought a tent at Walmart one time. Don't laugh at me, hikers. I was a younger lad back then. Used to go hiking with Boulder Badger. He had all this pro gear. He'd be like, I spent $250 for this tent. And I'd be like, Boulder Badger, you can get a tent for $20 at Walmart. Sure, it's a few ounces heavier. Anyway, and of course I didn't test it. Took it up into the teeth, set it all up, looked beautiful, zipped it open, set up my bedding, zipped it closed. Nothing. Zipper completely failed. I kept messing with the zipper. Nothing. Couldn't make it work. Just couldn't. And of course we were in the mosquitoes. They were just swarming. I had to try and rig it mostly closed, as close as I could. But I sustained an infinite number of mosquito accostations that night. I looked like a burn victim or something. Fortunately, it was before any of us were walking around with cameras and all that kind of stuff. So there are no pictures of me looking like that. I'm sure Boulder Badger remembers it. Anyway, at that point, I made it my business to get a better quality tent than Boulder Badger had. And I now do more shopping at REI than Walmart for backpacking gear.
All right, there are 5 of the many backpacking fails and mistakes that I was able to think up. You guys, don't tell anybody I love trash and Sawtooth, all right? That's just between us. If my friends over on Instagram found out about this, they would probably leave suboptimal comments, right? This is why I don't let my friends on Instagram hang out with my friends on YouTube. It's just not, that's like letting your That's like introducing your girlfriend to your wife. No, no good can come of that. You can feel free to tell everybody about the wildfire teapot thing, though. If your channel is tagged in a tag challenge, you must complete the challenge. Then you must tag 3 other channels to complete the challenge. Failure to complete the challenge will result in suboptimal commentary on your social media. Also, immediate revocation of your membership from the League of Lettuce. The 3 channels I'm tagging are Boulder Badger. Boulder Badger doesn't even make videos. But are you willing to lose your membership in the League of Lettuce, Boulder Badger? Jason from Haggard Wilderness. And also Max from Hike Camp. And I'll leave a link to all of those channels and Deb Campos in the description below. Thanks for clicking my vid, folks. But it's over now, so go adventure!